शंकराचार्यमध्यमामस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्परां श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानामालयं करुणालयं नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः ईश्वरो गुरुरात्मेति मूर्तिभेदविभागिने व्योमवद्व्याप्तदेहाय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः नारायणं पद्मं वसिष्ठं शक्तिं च तत्पुत्रपराशरं च व्यासं शुकं गौडपदं शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमथास्य पद्मपादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तन्तोटकं वार्तिककारं ज्ञानस्मद्गुरुं सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि यः साक्षात् सच्चिदानन्दं प्रत्यगद्वयमक्रियं तन्नमामि नृसिंहयोगिगम्यम् आनिलाग्निं परित्वं स्कर्पणियोद्गतं यथा ध्वान्तच्छिदे नमस्तस्मै श्रीगुरुभ्यो नमः। ग्राहकस्यापि the last verse 109 said स्वसाधनं स्वयं नष्टो न नाशं वेत्यभावतः अतएव न च अन्येषाम् अतोऽसौ भिन्न साक्षिकः। कर्तृकर्म विरोध we have seen many times. Jadatvat hetu also you have seen many times. The Triputi cannot know itself or each other. And because it is something which is going to have nasha, cannot know itself also. Why? Because nashtatvat, there is abhava, swasya abhava. We have seen this. Because it is itself not there, how can it know its own nasha or also somebody else, something else? Therefore, the knowledge that we have of Triputi is not due to one or more among the Triputi itself. The knowledge is because of Sakshi being different from them, all three, and that Sakshi I knows. Bhinna Sakshika. That Sakshi knows, or you can say Sakshi brings others to light, thereby Bhinna Sakshika asau. So that was the 109th verse. 110th verse introduction says, for the Sambandhukti, Grahakasya api grahyatve sakshina api grahyatvam tataha cha anavastha syad iti chet. Now Purvapakshi says, since one cannot know oneself, this is a niyama that you yourself brought it up when I said, Mamaham Janami. But is the Sakshi known or not? So, Grahakasya pi grahyatve. Purvapakshi says, now the Grahaka Drashta, Shrota, Manta has to be Bhinna Sakshika. You yourself said that in the 109th verse. 109th verse said that Asau Bhinna Sakshika. So Drashta is known. If Drashta is known, Shrota is known, Manta is known, and is Bhinna Sakshika means Bhinna Sakshiyasya. Sakshi is separate from that. Drashta, Drashtadi. The doubt is not about the Drishya and Darshana. So we'll take Drashta primarily. If the Drashta is known by Sakshi who is separate from the Drashta, and thereby now you have two eyes, one is the Mithya eye, Drashta, and the other is the real eye who is Sakshi, then Siddhanti says, if Grahaka is going to be Grahya, meaning the seer, listener, knower, etc., Drashta, Shrota, Manta are objects now for Sakshi. Grahaka supposed to be Karta, Kartari. Grahaka is null pratyanta. Ridhatu, you get null pratyaya and you will get Grahaka Rupa. And in what sense is grahaka, the null there? Null, your anako, you'll get aka. So it will become grahaka. That is in the sense of karta, kartari vyutpatti. Kartari, krit, samanya niyama. If you don't see any krit pratyaya, you don't see any sutra which gives the meaning, in which meaning does this particular pratyaya come in, then the utsarga is what? Kartari, krit. Elsewhere you will have specific rules. So, akartari, chakara ke sanyayam, or bhave, ityadi, adhikarane. So, some sutra will tell you in which meaning will this pratyaya come in Vyakarana, Ashtadhyayi Sutra. If there is no such sutra, Nil Trichau, this grahaka comes from Nil Trichau. Nil Trichau what? Kartari. Why Kartari Krut? They are Krut Pratyaya. And they come in Kartari meaning. How do you know there is some grammar, Vyakarana after a long time? How do you know it is a Krut Pratyaya at all? So Kruda thing. Is it thing? So Tipta Jityadi, there are 18 Pratyas. It is not one among them, then it is Krut Pratyaya. And if it is Krut, not being thing, then it is in the meaning of Kartari unless specifically mentioned. So Purva Pakshi says, you have also studied Vyakarana, Grahaka is in Kartari sense, and now you are saying it will not become a subject, it will become an object. Karta means what? Agent of the action, subject of the action. Now you are saying that Grahaka is Grahya for the Sakshi. Siddhanti says, Kartari Vyutpatti does not mean Karta everywhere. It is Karta only for this Grahadhatu. The reason I mention this is because this Vyakarana is needed. Many people get confused between Kartari Vyutpatti and Karta of the sentence. What is Kartari Vyutpatti? Karmani Vyutpatti, they think it is Karmani Prayoga also. So there is a lot of confusion between what is Vyutpatti, what is Prayoga, and what is the sentence construct as to what Vibhakti, Karaka Artha is there. Just because it is Kartari Vyutpatti does not mean that it is a Kartru Karaka and it is Kartari Prayoga. All three are not same. In fact, neither of the, none of the combinations of two are same. So, therefore, if you have someone who is an actor of an agent of a particular action, someone else may see. Therefore, for that, the other is an object. So one who is running, you see the runner is karta for the running kriya. But one who is seeing, I am seeing that runner, so that runner is also an object for which kriya? For the darshana kriya. So anyway, there is no hidden secret there. In Sanskrit analysis, since we are not used to the language since childhood, it's not easy to analyze sentences unless we know these differences of paribhashika shabdas. What is Vyutpatti? What is Prayoga ityadi? Especially with Kridanta, there can be more confusion when put together in a sentence with a Tinganta pada and in different Prayogas. So anyway, coming back to the context, what is it? Is or is not the Grahaka becoming Grahya here? That is the question Purva Pakshi asks. Siddhanti says that is what I am saying. For the Sakshi, Grahaka is a Grahya. So for Sakshi's Grahana, Grahaka is Grahya. But why is he Grahaka? For other Kriyas, he is Grahaka. For the other Grihi Kriya, he is Grahaka, who Drashta Shrota Manta. So what kind of Grahana? Darshana Grahana, Shravana Grahana, Manana Grahana. For that, Drashta Shrota Manta, he becomes Karta, subject. But for the Sakshi, he is an object. No matter whether it is Shrota, Manta, Drashta, whatever. Thereby, now Purva Pakshi says, if Grahaka can become Grahya, what about Sakshi? Sakshi no pi Grahyatum. Sakshi is Sakshi the subject or not? Yes. Sakshi is subject now. Because Grahaka, who was subject, for Sakshi, he is an object. since one subject can become an object, what stops the Sakshi from becoming an object? So Sakshinopi Grahyatvam Syat. And if that happens, then that Sakshi has another Sakshi. Then the second Sakshi has a third Sakshi. Because we know the Sakshi, then the third Sakshi has a fourth Sakshi. This has been dealt with. But in this detail, it has come up now. Tatascha anavastha sya. Then you will lead with anavastha dosha. You will land in, not lead, you will land in anavastha dosha. What is it? Infinite regress. Iti chet. Siddhanti says, ma evam. He says, a good thinking, but you have lost on the idea of the Sakshi. What is Atma really? What is Brahma Tattva? What is Sakshi Tattva? That you have lost idea of. You have given that idea earlier. So Siddhanti says again, why? Ma evam. Tasya ajadatvena. Ajada needs no Sakshi, separate Sakshi. Grahaka adi are jada. Grahaka, Grahya, Grahana are all jada. Therefore, they need pratibimba of the Sakshi or prakashana from the Sakshi. Who is Chetana? They need Chetana prakasha, ajada prakasha, ajadasya prakasha. Why jadatvad? Tesham sarvesham triputi antargatanam sarvesham jadatvad. Siddhanti says this Sakshi is not jada. Sakshi is Chetana. Very lakshana is, Swarupa is Chetana. So Mayavam tasya ajadatvena tasya kasya sakshinaha ajadatvena swasiddhau anya anapekshatvad iti aha. This swasiddha, swatasiddha. Chaitanya is swatasiddha. Nobody wakes up and asks other as to am I awake? Nobody needs to know am I conscious? No question. No question comes to the mind either. One may say, am I dreaming? You know, some special anubhav, you say, am I dreaming? Really? Is this all true? But a dreamer is also what? Is Chetana. Meaning Chetana in a sense. The dreamer, Drashta is not Chetana. But Pratibimbitattvena Chetanatvam. So here he says, Swasiddhau Sati, the Satyam. Mayevam tasya sakshinaha ajadatvena swasiddhau swatasiddhau sattayam swasiddhau sattayam sati saptami. Thereby what? Siddhau anya anapekshatvam sakshina. Does not need another at all. Iti aha grahakadehiti. So hetu is given. Anya anapekshatvad hetuho. Iti aha grahakadehiti. Thereby the sambandhokti says grahakadehe anya sakshi purvakatva siddhehe. Swasakshinaha api anya sakshi purvakatvad. Anyatha anavastha syat. Anavastha iti chet. Anavastha iti chet. Anavastha syat. Would be. There would be anavastha, infinite regress. Tikakara already elaborated this point. So grahakadi, so adi pada has been added. Grahakasya is the main samshaya. Grahana and grahya we don't have a doubt with. I mean, Purvapakshi also does not really have a doubt. He knows they are jada. But grahaka seems Chetana. Siddhanti says grahaka is not Chetana. Thereby grahakade, meaning grahaka, grahya and grahana, they are all anya sakshi purvaka. They are siddhi. Their siddhi is anya sakshi purvaka. None of them know the other or themselves because they are jada and due to kartru karma virodha. Therefore, they need another sakshi preceding their coming to life, their being known. They need another. Another is sakshi. Anya sakshi does not mean separate from any of them being sakshi. Anya sakshi means what? Anyahascha aso sakshi cha. Is anya and sakshi. Not a different sakshi, but different who is sakshi. Different from the three, but sakshi. Not a different sakshi. None of them are sakshis. So अन्यश्च असौ साक्षी अन्य साक्षी कर्मधारय and then अन्य साक्षी पूर्वम येभ्यः सह अन्य साक्षी पूर्वक और नॉट येभ्यः ते अन्य साक्षी पूर्वकाः तस् तेषां भावः and then तस्य सिद्धिः. So grahakadi need another who is sakshi to precede for their being established as being there at all. Satta, for satta spurti both. Thereby, now Purva Pakshi may think swasakshina api anya sakshi purvakatvat. Siddhanti says no, none of them are sakshis. Therefore, being jada, they need another who is Chetana, whom we call as sakshi. But this Sakshi being Chetana, there's only one Sakshi. This is a Sakshi who needs no other Sakshi or Jada also. Chetana, Achetana, Sakshi at all. Swasakshina api anya Sakshi purvakatvat anavastha iti chet tanna. Siddhanti says no, there is no dependency for Sakshi to be known by another or due to another. Why Sakshina Vyatirikta Hetu Anapekshatva? Sakshi being known does not have any other Hetu. Why is Sakshi Swabhavataha? Why does Sakshi appear to be Chetana? Because it is Chetana. Why is it Chetana? Swabhavataiva Swarupataiva. Why does it not need any other thing? Why Chetanatvatev? No other Hetu needed. Vyatirikta Hetu is not needed. Sakshi is Swayam Hetu also for itself. Because I am Sakshi. Like you go to a boss who takes decisions that you can't take. At work, you know, somebody does something, he is scolded. Boss does it, it's okay. Why? Because what is, I am the boss. What will he say? Nobody will question. Because I am the boss, he says. So Sakshi is the boss here. That's how he is. For good or bad, why is he so? You can keep on asking why, no answer. Anubhava Siddha, finally, because in really see Drashtadi, they are Karta all right. In the Vyakarana Sutra, what? Vyakarana Sutra, there is a nice sutra, you know, I like that. Although there is no such Vyakhya at all, I like a very Vedantic Vyakhya of the Vyakarana Sutra, Swatantra Karta. Swatantra Karta means what? One who is Swatantra. Karakeshu, Sarveshu Karakeshu, Ya Swatantra, Sa Karta Ityartha. One who is Swatantra. Every other thing has a dependency on Kriya or Karta needed. Karma also needed for the Karta. Kriya is needed for the Karta. So Bhave, Bhava, meaning Kriya, Dhatvartha, any other Karaka, all that is for the Karta. Karta is Swatantra, boss. However, there is another beautiful sutra after that, which says that about Hetu Karta. What is that? Swatantra Karta, Tat Prayojaka Hetuscha. So Tat Prayojaka Hetuscha. This Karta who is Swatantra, don't be Vedantic this thing, okay? Not Vyakarana. In Vyakarana, Swatantra Karta. Because Cha is sitting there, right? So that fellow is also Karta, this fellow is also Karta. Like the Dvasuparna mantra in Mundaka Upanishad. Two birds are there. One is having Karma Bhoga, other Abhichakashiti. Thus just looks over. One Bhungte, one actually undergoing Karma Phala Bhoga, Phalam Bhungte. The other one, Abhichakashiti. He just watches over. There are no two. That's why later the mantra says, one who sees both as one. One who sees both as one, that fellow is freed. Otherwise, two different birds, meaning one Atma, Jivatma, another Paramatma. Paramatma is free. Same thing here in the Sutra, you can see that meaning. In the Vyakarana Sutra, Tat Prayojaka Hetu. We'll drop the cha now. Tat Prayojaka Hetu. Who is one who thinks I am Swatantra, who makes him Swatantra? There is a Prayojaka, one who prods. How? By just mere presence. Brings the the swatantratva in that, and thereby in that entity who is reflected really, and as though comes to life. Karta, Shrota, Manta, Drashta, Shravita also, all of that, whatever Kriya you can think, the Kartrutvam comes there by Swatantrayam. The Swatantrata is Bhranti. Swatantra is Bhranti. How Bhranti? Because Prayojakas, Atma is sitting there. Paramatma, Brahmatma. That Prayojaka is the Hetu for everything else, for the Karta also. But who is the Hetu for Prayojaka? Who is the Prayojaka's Prayojaka or Hetu for the Hetu? Paramatma. Nobody is there. That is the meaning here. Sakshana Vyatirikta Hetu Anapekshatva. Drashtustu tata nasti. Grahakade tu tata nasti. Grahakadi need something else. So we have seen this, but in Tika it has been elaborated in that detail, which we have not seen perhaps. Shabdata we have not seen, I may have explained. Atah, thereby the 110th verse comes up. धीवन्नापेक्षते सिद्धिम् आत्मान्यस्मादविक्रियः निरपेक्षम् अपेक्षैव सिद्ध्यन्त्यन्ये तु न तु स्वयम् अन्ये. So dhivat means what? Buddhivat. Na apekshate siddhim atma anyasmat avikriyah nirapeksham apeksha eva siddhyanti anye na tu swayam. So dhivat buddhivat avikriyah atma anyasmat siddhim na apekshate. That is Young Buddhivat. Like the buddhi which needs another to be known for its satta and spurti. Atma does not need anyone. Why? This avikriya atma. Buddhi is savikriya. Vikriyavati buddhi. But atma is what? Atma is kriyavati. Buddhi is kriyavati. But atma is what? Avikriya. Anyasmat buddhi needs Anyasmat siddhi. Buddhi siddhi is dependent on another. Anyasmat buddhi buddhehe siddhi. So buddhi siddhi is dhi siddhi is due to anya. Who is that anya? Sakshi. Vyatirikta. Jadatvat hetu. But atma, avikriya atma, does not expect apekshate. What? Na apekshate. Anyasmat siddhim na apekshate. Swayam siddha. And nirapeksham atma. Atma is nirapeksha. And anye means dhyadi, buddhyadi, ahankaradi, grahakadi, all of them. What? Anye tu nirapeksham. Who is nirapeksha? Atma. So nirapeksham atmanam apeksha eva. Nirapeksham can be seen as visheshana. So you convert this atma into second case, because nirapeksham is second case karma for lebanta apeksha. So nirapeksham atmanam apeksha eva anye siddhyanti. How are others having their siddhi? How are they established? Anye nirapeksham anye tu, in contrast. Anye tu nirapeksham atmanam apeksheva siddhyanti na tu swayam siddhyanti. Swayam na siddhyanti. Na swayam. So tu you can put it earlier or later. Na tu swayam. So we'll leave the two as it is and we'll say anye nirapeksham atmanam apeksha eva siddhyanti na tu swayam. Anything left in the Tika there? Yeah. So further in the Tika, Anyesham Atma Grahanatvena Tadgrahakatva Ayogacha Na Anyagrahyatvam. Na Anyagrahyatvam Atmana. There is a truti here on tu. This tu is out of place here. So difficult to make sense if you put two here. Anyesham atmagrahanattvena, or you can say what tadgrahakatva yogacha na. Then you have to say atmanatu na anyagrahyatvam. But still, with two, it does not read well, even if you do an anvaya. So, what is it? Anyesham atmagrahanattvena. There is a tippana. What is atmagrahana? He says atmagrahyattvena ityartha. Grahana means atmagrahana means atmagrahya here really. Atmagrahyattvena. Others being atmagrahya. Their atma is the sakshi there. So Anyesham atma sakshatvena, you can say saksha, you can say saksh, not sakshi, saksha. They become objects for the atma. Anya who are those? Grahakadi. Thereby tadgrahakatva ayogacha. Tadgrahakatva, grahakatva ayogacha is what tadgrahakatva? Tadgrahakatva is Atma is not tadgraha, grahaka. Meaning grahaka adi grahaka. Atma is not grahaka adi grahaka ityartha. Ayoga. They are jada, Atma is chetana. Atma will never become an object for any of these. Therefore, those who say that Atma Anubhava as an object is what is wanted, that is not. Can never be possible. Atma, which makes everything else known, with what will you know Atma? Atma cannot become an object. So, tadgrahakatva ayogacha. There is no yogyatva itself. Others don't have yogyatva also, meaning to become the subject or karana also. And Atma does not have yogyata, grahya yogatva. Why? Because it does not have any guna. Nirgunatva theto. Atma is nirguna. Without guna, you cannot know anything else. Oh, but then there is nirguna also, nirguna jnana. So somebody will say, Tarkikas talk about it, savikalpa, nirvikalpa, ityadi. There are words used like that. So Siddhanti says that it is just the mere presence. Brahmakara vritti does not bring in phalavyapti. Neither it is needed nor is it possible. So only vritti vyapti is needed. So all this you have to gather back here in this context. Therefore, Atmanaha na anyagrahyatvam. The Tippana clears this. Atmana ityaha, not tu, ityaha, iti pataniyam. Tu does not make sense there. So you have to say tadgrahakatva yogacha, grahakadi grahakatva yogacha atmanaha na anyagrahyatvam. Ityaha. Ityaha what? The nirapeksham iti. Thereby, this second half of 110 nirapeksham. Atma is nirapeksha, and based on that nirapeksha Atma, anye siddhanti. Others are established. Further in the 111th introduction, idanim purva prasarita itaretara adhyasa phalam upasamarati. So this particular context, this particular topic began with what? Yushmadasmat pratyaya. So Yushmadasmat pratyaya gocharayo in the adhyasa bhashya. And here also with similar words, Atma Anatma Adhyasa we have seen. So what happens with this? What is the idea? Why do you bring up Adhyasa? In Adhyasa bhashya it is very clear. Even before the first sutra, Adhyasa bhashya is needed. Otherwise first sutra will not make sense. And if that does not make sense, other 554 sutras that follow will not make sense in Brahma Sutra. Why? Because first sutra says, Athato Brahma Jijnasa. Brahmana Jijnasa Kartavya. Bhagavan Bhashyakara adds a word. Kartavya iti adhyara. Adhyartavyam or iti Vakya Shesha. So, Jijnasa should be done for what? Brahma Jijnasa. One should desire to know Brahma. Why? If you desire mukti, that's the idea. If one is a mukshu, moksha ichu, then why should he desire to know? Cannot be a vidhi. You desire to know. Desire comes up. So in the krama it is said, you do your nitya karma, chitta shuddhi will take place. Everyone wants sukha. You also want sukha. What kind of sukha? ultimate sukha. How long do you want it? Forever. When do you want it to start? Now. So everyone wants the highest sukha all the time, never going away. So nothing wrong in that. But everyone places the sukha, source for sukha, elsewhere, not in Atma. So entire moksha pursuit is the pursuit of this ananda. There should be no lesha of sukha, dukkha. There should be no dukkha lesha also. Not even a dukkha gandha. Therefore, niratishaya sukha prapti, atyantika sukha prapti, and niratishya sukha prapti, and atyantika dukkha nivritti. Sorry. That is a moksha lakshana. Atyantika dukkha nivritti. Should never, anta, put it to the end once and for all. Never should dukkha even come up. And niratishya sukha prapti. What kind of sukha? Forever. So no dukkha comes up, that sukha will stay. This is the moksha lakshana. So now how can you say desire, knowledge? There cannot be vidhi in desire. Desire comes up. How? When there is chitta shuddhi through nitya karma, then this desire for sukha, that kind of sukha which will last, will come up with viveka. Viveka janna vairagya will come up, because Vishaya don't give that kind of sukha. They give momentary sukha. Then we know, if you analyze further, we see that momentary sukha is also not there. Why? It cannot be elsewhere. Had it been there, everyone should like a same Vishaya. If I like something, I have to tell you that you also have to like it. Why? Because I like it. You will say, who cares what you like? We don't like it. That's it. So sukha is not in the Vishaya. We know this. Then what? If this sukha is in Vishaya for me, that is also not true. Individual also, I don't need others to certify that there is no sukha in this Vishaya. Hey, what do you like it? We don't like it. There's no sukha here. Whatever, food tastes so bad. Whatever. But still, individually also I can analyze and say what? Had it been there, sukha been there, swabhavata, that Vishaya I should like all the time. But sometimes I don't like. I consume more. After that, there is a distaste. So Bhagavan blessed me with something called a dysgeusia. I lost taste. Twice it happened in my life. Dysgeusia. Dr. Chakravarti is thinking. So he has all this. So why? The taste bud goes away. You have metallic taste. I used to have metallic taste in everything, and sweet. I have a sweet tooth. That's the only thing I can't manage, spice and all that. My health can't manage. I have very high degree of fourth degree. I had piles earlier, undergone surgery and all that. So, but I had a sweet tooth. So that's the only thing that I can eat. I was hoping, but that used to taste bitter. So does you say lose taste? So Bhagavan blesses you with that. You like sweets? This you see here. So I had it another time also recently. Lasted for a good. Earlier it was vitamin deficiency and all that. This time it was that, and I add on a side effect of some antibiotics, Norflux or something. So lasted a good 2.5, 3 months. Now the taste buds are back, so we crave something. Even now, if I eat something, after a while, I won't be able to eat. Why? Because there is no Vishaya Sukha. So individual also we know. Don't have to have dysgeusia for that. Without that also we know, analyzing that. So Bhagavan says, did you not know? Did you need dysgeusia to know that there is no Sukha in Vishaya? One can analyze without that cognitively. That is Viveka. So Viveka Janya Vairagya, then Shamadamadi, then Mumukshutva has to be automatic. That is the Krama. Why is it not automatic? Because Vairagya is not sufficient, or Vairagya is not Viveka Janya, or Viveka is not there, Vairagya is also not there. There is a Bhranti. Why? Because Shamadamadi are lacking. They build upon each other. Why are they lacking? Because there is Buddhi in Vishaya, there is Samskaras, Vasanas like that. We have because Vicharam na sahate. Not Vicharam, Vichara na sahate. So Vichara, the sahate, Karta, no, Vicharam na sahate, that is right. So Vicharam na sahate. Avidya Vicharam na sahate. Kartrupada is Avidya, Ajnanam. Because generally we hear the phrase Vicharam na sahate. without the first case, if you hear something in second case, or it appears to be first case, which is then that second case appears to be first case because you have first case missing, then the Bhranti is what? Napunsaka usage is there. Vichara is Ganyanta, it has to be Ganyanta or Vichara, Ganyanta mostly or Rajanta. So it has to be Pullinga. And then Vicharam sounds very odd, but Kartrupada is missing. Ajnanam or Avidya, Vicharam na sahate. Does not stand scrutiny. If you try to analyze, it vanishes. That's why it is very difficult. It's like, what I remember, by somewhere by mistake. I don't know where, but there, I think I shifted the house shifting somewhere. The rat had entered this thing, washing machine, and it came inside the house in an apartment in Mumbai. And then you used to hear these sounds. Where is it? I think not there, but elsewhere in the native village home somewhere. There was rats making a squeaking sound at night. And as soon as you switch off the light, absolute silence, you can't find out where it is. So vicharam na sahate. As soon as you throw the light of inquiry, it's mom, not there. Where is it? Where is ajnana? Not there. So very difficult to find these kind of things, which they just, become still. There's no movement, there's no sound. Very, very intelligent, Mushaka. So mind is like that. That's why, Ganesha sits on the Mushaka. Why is Mushaka Vahana? And Mushaka will keep on looking at Ganesha. That Mushaka is very chanchala. Chanchalam hi Manak Krishna. So Manasthaniya, that Mushaka looks up at Ganesha. That time it is still. Atma Ganesha is, Bhagavan Ganesha is what? Atmasthaniya there. Paramatma Sthaniya. Paramatma only, but here in the example, Paramatma Sthaniya there. So he looks up, the Mushaka looks up, his Antakarana when is pointed towards Atma, it is still. Otherwise, what? Mumukshutva is not possible. All this, why? Because all this is hidden there into how this Brahma Sutra makes sense. How can it make sense without Adhyasa Bhashya? That's why, Purva Prasayita Itaretara Adhyasa Phalam Upasamarti. What is the phala? Why do you bring up Adhyasa now? There is a phala. Because Jijnasa, there cannot be a Vidhi, but Jnana means what? There Vichara Kartavya. Vichara Kartavya. There is a Lakshana there. Jnane Lakshana. So Vichare Lakshana. So Vichara has to be done. In Jnana also there cannot be a Vidhi. Jnana is not Kartrutanta. For Vidhi you need Kartrutantratvam. It should be Kartru Adhina. Kartum Shakyate, Akartum Shakyate, Anyatha va Kartum Shakyate. Bhagavan Bhashikara says there also in Gita. So when can one have a choice? Where can one have a choice? In Jnana there is no choice. Something is Prameya. Pramana connects to the Prameya. Prama Utpadyate. Prama comes up. If it is red flower, it will come up in mind as red flower. Otherwise, it is a Bhranti. I see something choicelessly when Chakshurindriya is connected with the Rupa of the Vishaya. You cannot give me an order. Even Bhagavan cannot give me an order saying that you should see this red flower as blue. I can't. I am helpless. Bhagavan made me like that. There is no karta control there. In karma, there is control. Bhagavan says you don't pluck the flower. Yes. You should not even pluck the flower. Why? At least on some days, don't do himsa. That is also himsa. Don't do that. So there I'll say, okay, some possible. I can at least have some control. So Vidhi cannot be there in Jnana also. In Jijnasa also there cannot be Vidhi. You desire. Desire comes up. You made me like that. Why did you make me like that? I asked Paramatma. He says, this is what you wanted. So I have blessed you with that. You have such vasanas. So your desire comes up like that. Because you wanted it. It is your creation. You did some karmas. You liked it. Now you have a taste for it. Sitting as sanskaras, they come up. Now you don't have no control. When you had control, you lost it. Now you ask me, why do I desire? Because now you have no control over desire. When you had control over karma, you didn't take control. That was Kartru Tantra. The effect of that Vasana and Vasana Janya, all the kamanas, they're not Kartru Tantra anymore. They come up. Thereby what? Vichare Lakshana. Okay, Vichare Lakshana, but what about Adhyasa? What is the sambandha with Adhyasa? Adhyasa is Brahma. Jnana is the Aushara for that. Therefore, Jijnasa Kartavya, you have to do Vichara, because what you have right now is Avichara Siddha. So, Avicharita Siddha, that needs Vichara. Without Adhyasa, meaning without it being Brahma, it won't go. Vichara cannot take away something. Let me think over, you can say, but you have to act finally in when something needs action, something which will go with action. Utpadya ityadi, utpadya, prapya ityadi, we've seen 4. All of those need Vichara, all right. May or may not need Vichara, you can act. But even after Vichara, you have to act. Here, it is not like that. Jnana itself will do Ajnana Nasha. It cannot do anything but Ajnana Nasha. And if Bhagavan Sutrakara says that Athato Brahma Jijnasa Kartavya, you have to do Brahma Jijnasa for moksha, then it has to be Ajnana Karya, and therefore it has to be Brahma or Adhyasa. Therefore, Adhyasa Bhashya. Without which the first sutra and the rest of the sutras won't make sense. Anyatha Anubhapatti. Arthapatti Brahma. So here, Idanim Purva Prasadita Itara Adhyasa Phalam Upasamvarati. What is the phala of this Adhyasa? Yataha, says the Sambandhokti. So Bhagavan Sureshwaracharya says, Yataha Grahakadishu Atma Bhava Avidya Nibandhana eva. Avidya Nibandhano Yasya. Avidya Nibandhanam Yasya. Nibandhanam is what? Karanam. Avidya is Karana. Again, I am bringing back this again. Avidya is said to be Karana. The Holenarsipur Prakriya, they have missed this. Says that Sureshwaracharya is right. Sureshwaracharya is saying Avidya Nibandhana eva. He has used the word Avidya as Karana. How can you say Avidya is not Karana? How can you say Maya is Karana, but Adhyasa here, Adhyasa is Karana? He clearly says, Grahakadishu Atma Bhava ha. Avidya Nibandhana is Avidya is Karana for Atma Bhava in Grahakadi. And what is Atma Bhava? Atma Bhava is Tadatmya Sambandha. What is Tadatmya? Adhyasa only. Adhyasa, let it be Karana. It has been mentioned all over. We have seen in the Karya, in the Karana, there is a Karya usage, word usage. Adhyasa is Karana has been mentioned all right, but Adhyasa and Avidya are not interchangeable. Ajnana, they are not Paryayavachi Shabdas. Why? Because clearly you see, Grahakadishu Atma Bhava ya Adhyasa. Sa Adhyasa Avidya Nibandhana eva. Avidya Nibandhanam Karanam Yasya Atma Bhavasya Grahakadishu Atma Bhavasya Adhyasasya Saha Adhyasa ka Avidya Nibandhana. That Adhyasa is Avidya Nibandhana. Avidya is Karana, meaning Adhyasa is Karya. Very clear. You cannot go wrong unless you want to go wrong. You want to start a cult. Say that we got it, nobody else has in the 1200 odd years. So Yatha Grahakadishu Atma Bhava. So see, I have no Dvesha. Okay, the reason I bring it up is because I want to defend the Siddhantai Vyakhyanakaras. My idea is only in defense, not in attacks. But somehow they attack in all sorts of ways, saying Vyakhyanakaras have all ruined it and all that. It is not true. They have preserved the Sampradaya. You got knowledge because of the Sampradaya. We cannot be so thankless to the Sampradaya saying that I got my knowledge. Now I say everyone is wrong, I got it. You learn from the same Sampradaya. You can't bring up a cult and say that everyone is wrong. You have your own ideas, fine. Making akshepa on others is not right. So I'm being defensive because there have been attacks and there are continuously, the Sampradaya, their Sampradaya of attacks continue. So Yatha Grahakadishu Atma Bhava Avidya Nibandhana. Our idea is to show, even Bhagavan Sureshwaracharya, Bhagavan Bhashyakara they have shown Avidya as Karana. तस्माद् अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्याम विभज्य अनात्मनः स्वयं किम. वाक्य शेषा is in the shloka. So tasmad अन्वय व्यतिरेकाभ्याम विभज्य, using अन्वय and व्यतिरेका, atma anatma separation should be done, and thereby you'll know who is Paramatma, who is Atma, who is this Triputi, or who are in the Triputi. Then you will see the Sakshi and Grahakadi Bheda, Triputi Bheda. How so? Vibhajya Anatmana Swayam. Anatmana Swayam Kim? Anatma is what? Anatma is all the Grahakadi, Triputi. And Prameya, then the Grahya, Gatapatadi, Prapancha is included. Ahankaradi. उत्पत्ति स्थिति नाशेषु योगत्यैव वर्तते जगतो विकारयावेहि तमस्मीति न नश्वरम्. उत्पत्ति स्थिति नाशेषु यह अवगत्या एव वर्तते जगतः अविकारया अवेहि तम अस्मि इति न नश्वरम्. Mahavakya. Mahavakya, this 111th verse is clearly a Mahavakya. And again, I bring back Puja Swamiji, respected Puja Swamiji to mind, who had announced in the class as to find out why Ishvara is not there in Naishkarmyasiddhi. He said it's a PhD topic. But you see here, word Ishvara may not be used here. Sakshat. Tikakar explains. It is very clear. Utpatti sthiti nasheshu. Who is there? Atmanah swayam. Utpatti sthiti nasheshu yah avagatya eva vartate. Kaha vartate? Ishvara vartate. In utpatti sthiti and nasha, who is the utpatti sthiti nasha? Who precedes the utpatti? Prapancha utpatti. There is no talk of Jivatma here. It is Paramatma only. Because if you say tamasmi iti, you cannot say I am that Jivatma only. This is Ishvara only. This is Mahavakya. Puja Swamiji would have been very happy to see this, that the word may not have been used, but Ishvara is there. Without Ishvara, you cannot have Mahavakya working. Mahavakya is not you are Chaitanya. Puja Swamiji was very clear. Nirguna, what is the big deal? Everyone knows their consciousness. Yeah, you are consciousness. But if you say you are Ishvara, blasphemy. Oh, Ishvara. Have you seen your face in the mirror? So, in Hindi it is much better, This is just translation. In the muh dekha apna. Ishvara, aap Ishvara. Not aap, tu Ishvara hai. Not tum also. Tu Ishvara hai. So, blasphemy suddenly. So, Bhagavan Bhashyakara is very clear. This is how it will work. Bhagatyaga, Lakshana. So Puja Swami says, you have to reach that stage where you dare to say it is not blasphemy, it's an equation to solve. Puja Swamiji used to call it as an equation. Mahavakya is an equation. You have to solve it. To say that you are Chaitanya is not an equation. What is there to solve? I am Chaitanya. Okay, I am Chaitanya. So what? It's a statement of fact. Of course, when you solve the equation, it's a statement of fact as well, but you have to solve the equation. You cannot just copy and parrot it. It is not an exam you can, where people used to copy, I was very scared of this, Somebody looks into my paper, I'll get caught. I don't want to copy, I fail also is okay, but I don't want to copy. And someone else looking up your paper, and you hide it. I was a weak person, the other fellow may hit you after that. Why did you not show me? So this is not something that you can copy from another. You cannot mimic the, Sampradaya Acharya's guru and all that and say, Chaitanya. Puja Swamiji would make an accent, Chachwamasi. It will not work that way. See, it's an equation to be solved. What is this here? Utpatti sthiti nasheshu. During Utpatti also it is there. Before Utpatti also it is there. After Utpatti in Sthiti also it is there. Pre-Nasha definitely there Sthiti. During Nasha it is there. After Nasha also it is there. Who is it? Paramatma. यह अवगत्या एव वर्तते. अवगत्य, अवगति इज व्हाट? चैतन्य रूपेण, ज्ञान रूपेण, स्वरूपेण, ज्ञान स्वरूपेण एव वर्तते. अवगत्या. Avagatiya is tritiya, okay? Avagatiya, thu avagati. What is thu avagati here? So this avagatya tritiya, and there is a very odd word, sounding very odd. I've never seen this usage earlier, so it was tricky to understand. Avikara is the word. Strilinga. Vikara is pullinga. Avikara is bahuri. So avikaraya is tritiya in Strilinga, Ramavat. So that is in Samanadikaran with avagatya. Avikaraya avagatya vartate. Kasa Paramatma eva in Utpatti, Paramatma does not have any Utpatti, has no Vikara. Utpatti Vikara is not there. In Sthiti, all these other Vikaras, Nasha is the sixth Vikara, Utpatti. So Asti Vikara. Nasha is Nasha Vikara anyway. Dvamsa. And then other four in Sthiti. Jayate, Vardhate. So Utpatti can be seen as Jayate. So Asti Vikara in Sthiti. Asti Jayate, Vardhate, Viparinamate, Apakshiyate, Nashyati. So Sthiti will include the other four. You can put Utpatti and Nasha as two others. You will get Shadbhav Vikara. We have seen these. When these are going on, Satsu, Atmana Swayam, Anatmana. Atmana tu nasti. Anatmana Swayam Utpatti Sthiti Nasheshu Ya Avagatyaya Varta. Vibhajya Anatmana, one should know. Tasmat. Avidya Karya, all of these are Avidya Karya. So, Utpatti Sthiti Nasheshu Yaha Avikaraya Avagatyaya Vartate. When Sadbhava Vikaras are going on, that time also one who is Avikaraya Avagatya, that kind of Chaitanya Jnana which does not undergo any change, Vartate. And here Utpatti Sway, here Vibhajya Anatmana Sway, what is Jagata? Anatmana Jagata. जगतः उत्पत्ति स्थिति नाशेषु यह अविकारया अवगत्या एव वर्तते यह परमात्मा तम अहम अस्मि न नश्वरम इति अवेहि. तम परमात्मानम अहम अस्मि, महावाक्य. न नश्वरम. And Nashwaram is shown to contrast with Paramatma is Ishvara. Ishwaram, Tam Ishwaram, Paramatmanam Ishwaram. You have to say Tam Avi, not Tam Asmi, not Iti Avi. Tam Avehi, because Tam is in second case, not Tam Asmi. Tam Avehi, and what? Yaha, Sa, you have to add Sa also, because Tam will not go with Asmi. Asmi will need a first case. So, Nashwaram na asmi. You have to say Nashwaram na asmi. Aham Nashwaram na asmi. Tam asmi iti avi. Delhi Deepa Nyayani you have to use because it's otherwise it's difficult. Tamaham asmi. You can't say. Tamaham asmi you can't say. Soham you can say. Saham asmi. So tam avehi, you know that. Yaha vartate tam avehi. You know that. In Madhyama Purusha Ekvachana, Lot Lakara. May you know that. Siddhanti is telling the Purva Pakshi. May you know that. Know that, or otherwise, know that as you. Paramatma as you. Asmiti. Na Nashwaram. Na Nashwaram what? Entire Jagat. Prapancha. Or Anatmanam. Anatmanam. Grahakadi. Don't think that you are Asmiti. Because Nashwaram here again. Tamaham asmi, hum tamasmi, soham asmi. I don't like this Anvaya here in Tika. Let's see. Because tam and asmi you cannot have that way. You have saha aham asmi. Tamaham asmi is second case you don't say. I am that object. With asmi because it's an akarmaka dhatu, you cannot have such second case sitting there with asmi. Okay, anyway, let's see in the Tika. Idanim Purva Prasayita Itaretara Adhyasa Phalam Upasomrati Itareta mutual Adhyasa. What is the Phala Yata iti we saw? Jagataha Utpatti Sthiti Nasheshu. Yaha Ishvara. See, Ishvaraha. Varach pratyay is there. Varach is in Tachilya artha. Is not once in a while Ishvara. Somebody says, वो आप भगवान जैसे आ गए, आप ईश्वर है हमारे लिए. Ishvara word is no useless there. Why? You are a king. Even the king is called as Ishvara there. हमारे लिए भगवान है. That Ishvara, that Varach pratyay is out of place. You can say Bhagavan, all right. Varach is what? Tachilya. That Ishitru Bhava is Swabhava itself. Bhagavan can't help but be Ishvara. Paramatma is Ishvara by very Swabhava. Therefore, Varach. Nashwaram here also Varach. Nashdhatu Varach Pratya. Swabhavata eva Jagat has. You want to hold on to it, it won't be there. Keeps on having Nasha. Nasha Swabhava. As Nasha is its Swabhava. Every body that is born, everything that comes up, whether we like or not, will have Nasha one day. So Nashwara. Swabhavata eva. Tachilya. Tachila. So yaha Ishvara Swabhavata eva. ईशभाव यस्य अस्ति सः उत्पत्ति स्थिति नाशेषु जगतः उत्पत्ति स्थिति नाशेषु यः ईश्वर अविकार अवगति स्वरूपेण वर्तते. सी स्वरूपेण has been added. What is this अवगत्या वर्तते? अवगति स्वरूपेण वर्तते. What kind of tritiya? So ittham bhuta, it is mentioned ittham bhuta, but ittham bhuta technically is very difficult to read. This usage is there. Just like, Nimitta Saptami is used many places, but Nimitta Saptami is also tricky to see sutra wise. Sutra is strict as to when it can be Nimitta Saptami, but loosely it is used. So you have to say Arsha Prayoga ityadi. Here also what? We have Avagatya eva vartate, Avikaraya Avagatya. But here it is possible. Ittham bhuta is possible with Avikaraya. What is Ittham bhuta tritiya? Anyone? What is Ittham bhuta tritiya? Ittham bhute tritiya. Does anyone know?
Swabhavena, when you say the nature, Swabhava is when you say Ittham bhuta.
Sorry, what is Ittham bhuta?
When you describe the Swabhava, the nature, Ittham bhute, that's what I understand from.
Itham bhuta tritiya, meaning you are looking at the word itham, evam prakarena. So, close, but see, example is what? Kamandaluna Chhatraha, Jatavihi Sadhu. These are the example, tritiya. So you look at Jata, somebody has Jata. So that person is a sadhu. How do you know? Because I see Jata. So Jata goes in tritiya, Jatavihi. Therefore, sadhu, that you conclude. Or Kamandulana Chhatra. Today we don't have it, sadhus do not carry Kamandulu many places. But earlier what? Chhatra, the brahmachari. Chhatra is brahmachari. Chhatra word also interesting, just because a lot of Vyakarana comes to mind today. Chhatra is one who carries the chhatri. Chhatri is what? Umbrella. For the acharya, for the guru. Seva. One who does seva, chhatri is also, therefore he is called a chhatra. Carries the umbrella for the other, that is a chhatra. But really what? Why does he carry an umbrella? Because he wants vidya. So, brahmachari, student. How do you know he's a student now? Not all the time he's carrying his chhatra, not in the evening. So, indoors he is not carrying it. How do you know? Kamandula. So, he'll be carrying a kamandula. Why? Because Trikala Sandhya is there. He carries a kamandula. For everything, for anything happens, you are supposed to do achamana. These days, we after food also, eating food before, all that you have to do achamana. So, Sandhya achamana is needed. So, he carries a kamandalu. So, kamandalu becomes an upalakshana to know. So, how do you understand Itham Bhute Tritiya? It should fit in. The exact Itham Bhute Tritiya technically should have this kind of a construction possible. What? Kamandaluna upalakshitaha chhatraha. Upalakshita. You see the kamandalu, you don't see chhatra. You see kamandalu, therefore he must be chhatra. So it becomes upalakshana. Jatavi upalakshita sadhu. So upalakshit sadhutva mityartha. Sadhutva is identified by this what goes in tritiya. There you use tritiya. What goes that word by that word due to that padartha vishaya. We'll say padartha only. With which padartha you know something, that padartha's pada will go in tritiya. That is Itham Bhute Tritiya. So here one he says avikaraya avagatya eva vartate. So samar ittam bhave tritiya. Avagati swarupa eva vartate iti bhava. Therefore he added swarupa word there. I'll skip the others. This makes no sense to me. So I'll skip this. Somebody who's interested can look up. If you can make sense, well and good. You can tell me also. I couldn't make much sense of what this is. Sarartha Krunmate, what is mentioned. I don't even know Sarartha, which tika is there. And something is mentioned. This is not needed. So Charana Shatkasya, I don't know what the Charana Shatka and all that. So I dropped this. Gatha Rupasya Atra something Niveshaditi Drashtavyam. So we'll skip that. We'll go to Swarupa. So Ittam Bhute Tritiya drives home the point as to what this Tritiya means. So Jagatha Utpatti Sthiti Nasheshu Yaha Ishvara Avikara Avagati Swarupena Vartate. We got Swarupa now. Vartate Tamaham Asmi Iti Avehi. So this Tamaham Asmi is a little tricky construct for me. Saham Asmi is right. Tamaham we can't have that. Natu Nashwaram Pramatradi Rupam Ityartha. So had it been Tat, it would have been better. You can say Napunsaka. But here Ishvara is sitting there. So Ishvara Tam Avehi. Iti Avehi. So Tamaham. Very difficult to see that. Yaha Vartate Tam Avehi. With Avehi it will go. See Tam Avehi. How? Aham Asmiti. We can do that. So how I'll do the Anvaya? I'll say Tam Avehi. You know that. Tam is for Avehi. Avehi is Jnanarthaka. So Avehi, may you know. So it Jnanarthaka, it is Sakarmaka. So there I'll say Tam Avehi. May you know that. How should you know? Aham Asmiti Avehi. Then it will make sense. Aham Asmiti. Tam Avehi. How? Aham Asmiti. So here you can say Aham Asmiti. Just Aham Asmiti. Aham Asmiti Tam Avehi. If you have to do a single line Anvaya, Tam Aham Asmi. What Sa? Sa is in the middle. Aham Asmi. Aham, that Ishvara Asmi. Iti Avehi. So iti will become the Tam Iti Tam Avehi. That's how we'll have to do the Anvaya. So again here यह जगत उत्पत्ति स्थिति नाशेषु अविकारया अवगत्या एव वर्तते. You have to say सह अहम अस्मि इति तम अवेहि न नश्वरम. Iti tam न अश्वरम अवेहि. So we'll have to say tam as the karma for अवेहि and aham asmi iti tam. Aham asmi iti tam अवेहि. Iti can go as a karma as well. Iti tam. Anyway, however it makes sense, finally the idea is very clear. I have difficulty with cases in if they are wrong, appear wrong. My knowledge is limited, but with Bhavati it will not go. Asmi it will not go like that. So anyway, we'll stop here with we'll go with the 112th, I think. So 112th in the next Patha introduction. यस्साक्षात् सच्चिदानंदं प्रत्यगद्वयमक्रियं तन्नमामि योगी गम्यं परम पदम. नमस्ते, धन्यवाद.